Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Witness. We are in the town, and we've got quite a few things to do here. One thing I didn't point out before was that the shadows here make this look like this guy is juggling, when right here it looks like he's just kind of crying out for help or something. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what's making all those shadows. I think it's just the rocks. Yeah, I guess it is just rocks. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and see what we can find here as far as environmental puzzles go. I think there is one around here. If we were to... There's a very specific way you have to do this, and it's kind of a little bit hard to discern at first. But it does involve this. And it involves putting it back, I think, in a place where it's not exactly the most obvious. I don't remember there being anything in this maze, but you can already see right here there's something that we need to do there. So we'll get back to that. It was really hard not drawing attention to that earlier when we were here. Because I thought that looked a little suspicious when I was first playing through the game. Now I can't remember if there's anything that you can see from this area. I'm going to say no. I think this is primarily for... Oh! Hey! We have a triangle puzzle to do. So let's do it. There we go. Good thing we came back. I think this is mainly so you can see the sun shining there on that thing, which is cool. I do like that. But the main thing that we want to accomplish here is this. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get the this thing back here like that. Let me see if that does anything. We may have to adjust it. I don't think that's actually the solution, but it may get it to a point where... Yeah, that's not it. It has to be, like, lined up with this, I think. So let's do that. I think that's how you're supposed to figure it out. Alright, so we need to get this one space up. But I'm not entirely certain if that's even doable. Wait a minute. No. I'm gonna have to try to remember this, guys. This is gonna be a little tricky. So it's 9 squares all in all, right? And... yeah... This is a bit of an issue. So we have to get groups of 3 vertical squares. But this may not be that much of a problem if we isolate this and then go here and then... Well, hang on. That would be 4 squares though. So I don't know how you would actually get that up there. Yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense, right? Oh, but wait a minute. Wait. Duh. I'm an idiot. If we do something like this, then we can get that up there. I think that's how you have to do it. Just make sure. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so now we just need to make sure we draw the path here. There we go. That was very cleverly hidden. Alright, so now I'm going to go to a room that we've kind of been putting off for quite a while now. Yeah, let's do that now while our brain is still fresh. It's in this area, and you may recall I was like, no, we're not going to do that yet. It's this part. Not right here, but inside. There's this setup here. And there's actually 2 puzzles to solve. One right here and one right here. This one involves squares and this one involves some stars. And basically what you have to do is you have to set this up in such a way that you get either blue, green, or red as the color that's being cast here in this room. There's no way that you can let all the light into this room and see what the puzzle really is. You actually just have to jot everything down. So I've come prepared with some paper here so that we can actually write what we're dealing with here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to note which colors have light spaces and which have dark spaces, because they're all going to be different combinations. And from there, we should be able to assign one of 6 different colors, potentially, to each thing. So let's see, blue light, and then blue dark, and blue dark for that first square. Actually, wait a minute. Let me start this over. I got to make sure I have enough room for all 3 colors, right? So let me just draw some huge squares here so we can actually get this correct, hopefully. We won't have to redo anything. I know you guys can't see my drawing here on paper, but I'm just going to write down what I'm saying on the mic here so you guys know what I'm doing. So for the first one, we got blue light and then blue dark for the other ones. So each combination will yield something a little different for what color this could potentially be. Blue lights for all of the ones on the upper left, blue dark for the ones on the upper right, then blue dark for the ones on the lower left. And then we kind of have something similar to the upper left in the lower right-hand corner there. Blue dark, blue light, blue dark, blue dark. I'm going in regular reading order, by the way. Alright, so that's it for that. Then we move over here to the star one, and this one's pretty simple. I'm going to use the reverse side of my paper to write this one out. So we've got the 4 sets of 4 squares. This is kind of an extension of the flower tower puzzles, but this time there's not quite as easy of a solution. You kind of have to just write this all out. So blue light, blue light, blue light, blue light for the top left, and then blue light, blue light, blue light for the bottom right, and the rest are blue darks. Alright, so that should be... Wait, is it 6 possible combinations? I feel like it could be even more than that, but I guess we'll see. I guess 8 possible combinations, right? If there's 3 different colors. 2 to the 3rd power. Alright, so let's now switch colors. What? Why is that wrong? That's... Oh, because these are all 3 different things. Okay. So now we got green. And while we're here with green, I'm actually going to go outside because I happen to know that one of the puzzles out here is a green line that you have to draw with the ivy here. As long as you connect it just right. I'm not entirely certain what perspective you're supposed to view this from, though. You can see a red one there, which we're going to save for later. I'm wondering if you have to get on top of this in order to actually see it properly, so let's try that. Yeah, I think you do. Well, maybe. Maybe not. That doesn't look quite so good. I'm wondering if there's maybe you have to go up the tower or something. Maybe there's another space. Let's take a look. I don't think it's right here. This seems a little too close. This is the sort of thing that feels like you have to look at it from a certain angle. Maybe we actually had to extend the bridge out and get to that other side with the roofs. Maybe that's what we have to do here. Let's give that a shot. Whoops. There we go. That looks a little better, but it doesn't feel like it's solid all the way through, which kind of concerns me. And the closer you get, the less that looks like a circle, so I don't know where you're supposed to view this one from. Maybe from the tower? Let's try going up the tower and seeing. I'm not really confident about this, but it's at least worth a shot. No, it can't be from here. There's no way you can see that. Okay. This is definitely a bit of a tricky one. Maybe it is just down here. Maybe you're just supposed to pick a very specific location. I don't think it's here because this feels a little too far in the wrong direction. Oh, wait a minute. This is the starting point. Oh, I had it wrong. Okay. There we go. That's the end. Okay, they got me on that one. Well played. Okay, so let's go back up. This time we'll record all the green stuff here. So, let's see. First of all, we've got green dark, and then green light, and then green light, red light, green lights. And then we got green light, green light, green light, green light for all of those. So those were all blue darks earlier. And then we got green darks over here with all the blue darks from on the left-hand bottom corner. And then we finally got green lights over here with the blue lights that were all in the bottom right corner. Okay. So that didn't take so long. This one over here, we got a lot of dark ones. And oh no, I wrote this in the wrong spot. Oh man. Okay, we'll fix this. Green dark, green light, green dark. Okay, this is salvageable. Green dark, green dark, green dark, green dark. So just ignore everything I said a minute ago. Okay, all the ones in the bottom left are the same. And then we got green light, green dark, green light, green light. So that wasn't too many mistakes. Okay, so now I need to redo the stuff over here, but actually write it in the right spot. So green dark, green light. It's interesting because this actually follows the same pattern of things being different that the first one did. So the rest of these on the right side are green lights. So far all the things on the right side, or the upper right I should say, are lights. The bottom right's a little different though. Alright, then we got all dark on the bottom left, which matches the blue dark there. Okay. Now we just need to do red. There we go. And as usual, we're going to go outside. Well, usual being twice now, I guess. Go outside and do the ivy puzzle. And this one looks a little simpler. Just need to know where to start it. This one we may have to actually go up top for this one. This one feels like it should be pretty accessible from here, yeah. Well, it's getting me a little closer. There we go. There we go. And there isn't one for all the orange stuff up there, so I think that's all the ivy puzzles that we need to solve. How did we get in? I think it was this way. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so finally we've got this set. I'll make sure I'm on the right page here. So we got red lights across the top, actually. Alright, so we're going to have to assign numbers to all of these. Alright, then we got red dark, red light on the bottom, and then red dark, and then the bottom right's all red dark. Okay, then on the right side we've got, we got an interesting combination here. We've got red lights on the upper left, and then we've got red light with a red dark there on the upper right. Oh, wait. Accidentally mislabeled that. Red light, and then we got red dark, red light, red dark on the lower left, and then all red light on the lower right. Okay. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign numbers to each of these. So blue, green, red. So light, we'll assign that the number 1. We know that exists. light, dark light. Let's assign that the number 2. I'm just going to be assigning these as I see them. And then we got dark light light, which we can assign the number 3. And then, let's see, dark, dark, dark. Is number 4. And then there's dark, dark light, which we'll assign the number 5. And then dark, light, dark, which we'll assign the number 6. Did we get light, light, dark? We did not. Let's do that for number 7. I think we've almost got all of the combinations here, haven't we? We haven't done light, dark, dark yet. I don't know if that one is actually represented anywhere. Let me just make sure. I'm not actually seeing that one. That's interesting. Okay. So let's go ahead and label all of these. So for the first puzzle, let's go back here. For the top, we've got 2, and then 3, 3, 3. And then for the right, we've got 1, 1, 1, 1. So those are all the same, which is nice. And then for the lower left, we've got 5. What is DDL? That's... Oh, did we not do that one? Oh, wait a minute. No, it's... I put DLD. Did I not do DDL? Okay, I am a little confused here. I feel like I did No, I did DLD as number 6. Let's put DL as number 4. So we'll put 4 there, and then 5, 5. And then we've got DLD, which is 6. And then LLD, which is 7. DLD, which is 6. And DLD, which is 6. Okay. So now we just have to come up with a plan to separate all of these accordingly. So all the ones in the upper right are the same. We know that. So that means that these need to be cordoned off somehow. All of these are together except for this one. This one is actually by itself. So I think if we were to make a starting move, we would do something maybe like this, where this is sectioned off, and then this can get sectioned off, then this can get sectioned off, and then these can get sectioned off. That might be a bit of a problem. Let's see here. So basically, these are unique, this is unique, these 3 are unique, this is unique, and then all 4 of these are unique, these 3 are unique, and then this one right here is unique. So none of the 4 squares actually have any crossover with each other, which is kind of impressive when you think about it. Why don't we just do something... No, that's not going to work, because then those 2 squares are going to come together, and we really don't want that. Maybe if we do something like this, except now it's going to be hard to separate those. Well, it's going to be impossible. Okay, we'll get this. We'll get this. How in the world do you do this? Like maybe like that? Problem is that now those are going to touch, which we don't really want. This is not going to be sufficient either, because then those 2 are going to touch, and we don't want those. Yeah, so this really does need to be isolated first for anything else, it seems like. So that seems to be the only way to accomplish it. But then we have a problem with these 4 up here. Because unless you can somehow section all of these off from all of those, then we've got another issue. So I don't know. That's going to be the tricky part, I fear. Somehow you do have to start with this. Pretty convinced of that. And then you go here. Then you go here. The thing is, this upper right corner thing actually is a little more deceptive than it seems, because at first you're like, oh, you know, that's all together, so it's not a problem. But then when you actually sit down to plot out a route, it does become a problem. And things get a little more complicated than you thought. And then now that's not going to work, because then that's going to overlap with those. So, yeah, this is quite a conundrum, actually. I thought this was going to be pretty simple. I don't remember this, like, once you figured out the solution, being terribly difficult. But there's one thing I'm learning from this Let's Play, is that the things you thought were difficult before aren't necessarily, and vice versa. So, yeah. See, this seems like you should be able to just kind of go down here and then take care of the rest of everything, right? But then you got this, and that's not going to do any good, so... tell you what, why don't we not worry about this starting area first? Maybe that's the key. Maybe we should just leave this alone. The thing is that we have to section it off before we really get too far, right? Because any attempt to really do anything else is going to end in some kind of failure. Like, if I do this, I'm automatically including this one down here with it, and that's an issue, so I have to do something like that, right? And then over here, we've got the issue of this. And then we get over here, and then we're kind of blocked in. We can't actually separate the two of these from each other. Nope. Alright. I feel like there's only so many moves you can make before you get stuck, basically. Like here, if I were to do that, I mean, let's look at this. If I were to do that, these three and that one are going to be contained within each other, and that's a problem. And then that's also presenting an issue for this area. So, and that's the tricky thing about this, is that it's a puzzle that feels like you should be able to just breeze through and cut through everything the way you need to, but it's not. Alright, I'm just going to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes labeling these. Because the one that's a little bit strange is this. This one right here is the one that's a little bit of an oddball. Because that's the only... Well, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that this is an oddball and this is an oddball as well. So it's really those three that are presenting the issue. And the thing is that this exit over here, being among the area that's like the easiest, is kind of a problem in its own right, basically. So I'm wondering if there is a way we can come back through all of this. That would be great, but I'm not really seeing a way to bisect and do that. There doesn't also seem to be any overlap at all with this, with any of the stuff in any of the squares. Like, I don't think there is. See, this one seems to be such a nice solution until, wait a minute, maybe this actually is a nice solution. Wait a second. Yes. Yes! Nice! Alright. Tell you what, why don't we switch the color scheme while we work on the other one. There you go. Get back to nice blue. Okay, so for the other puzzle, let's see. Let's label these. We've got LDL, LDL. I feel like I'm talking about cholesterol here. So that's number 2. 2, and then LLL is 1. So 2, 2, 1, 2. And then we got on the upper right DDL, DDD, DDL, DDL. Okay. So DDL is 4 and DDD is 5. Okay. 4, 5, 4, 4. Okay, I can kind of see where this is going. And then we got DDD, DDD, DDL, DDD. Okay. So somehow the upper right and the lower left are going to have to intersect in some interesting way. And it's looking like the upper left and the lower right are going to be intersecting as well, because there's going to be LLL, LDL, LLL, LLL. So basically, this square right here and this square right here, kind of what we're seeing right now, these are going to align in some way, and these two squares are going to align in some way. So we need to figure that out. And this is going to have to match with one of these, while the other two gets cordoned off on their own. And this is going to have to match with one of these, while the other two get cordoned off on their own. And the same thing goes for this, which is going to have to match with one of these up here, and this, which is going to have to match with one of these down here. So, a very interesting setup. Just going to say it. But actually, it may not be so bad, because we can have some overlap. We just have to be careful with how we pull it off. So, as long as I can get... So wait a minute, how many of each are there? I think there's 3 pairs of each thing. No, there's only 2 pairs of each thing. Oh, okay, so that actually makes this significantly easier. Because if I were to go through and draw a line in such a way that bisects the whole thing in one fell swoop, that actually might not be a bad idea. So if I do something like this, which gets both of the 5s in there, and then something like this, which gets both of the 1s in there, and then something like this, which gets both of the 4s in there. Just wondering how this is going to go down. I have to wrap this around in a way that makes sense, right? So with the 5s, I cannot, with this setup, get the one up top without ruining anything else. But if I can just wrap this around in such a way that I can basically make a continuous open area from the lower left to the bottom right, that'd be nice. I'm just not really sure it's going to work too well. So maybe I have to do this a little bit differently. Let's try going over here. Where the 2 can then connect to the 2 over this way. I'm just wondering how we're going to do that while separating the 1 out. That's going to be a little tricky. I may just have to do it like this. Alright, so then the 4 and 5 stuff here is going to be a bit of a problem too. Because there's a 4 over there. Maybe I have to actually make a slightly less aggressive opening sequence here. So let's do something like this where both 1s can exist there. But then we start with that. And then we do this maybe? Will that work? We got 2 5s, 2 1s. Wait a minute, there's an odd one there. Oh, we don't have the 2. That's the problem. How are we going to capture that without... Unless we just completely isolate these two. But in order to do that, then I have to scoop along the bottom, and I don't want to do that. That's going to be a bit of an issue, isn't it? Getting those 2 there. This is a really interesting puzzle. 1... Oh, wait. That will work, right? Because the 2 1s are by themselves. 2 5s, 2 2s. Alright, so then I just need to cut out the 2 4s. And then that should be workable. Yes! Wow, that was really satisfying to solve. Alright. Cool beans. We were able to complete the color puzzles. How are we doing on puzzle count? 512, so we got 13 left. Beginning to wonder where some of these are. I'm wondering if there may be a few secret passages. Oh wait, there's still the 6 things in the windmill. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do next before we finished up. And because we've been going on for a while, I think I'm just going to go ahead and get to this now and save the windmill environmental puzzles for later, because those can take a little while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to input all of the codes that we need for the theater inside the windmill. And I'm not, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not planning to play the videos on the Let's Play because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube for any of this stuff, because I've heard that that has happened. But what I will do is, if I can find links to them, I will put them in the video description. And on top of that, I am planning at the very end of the Let's Play, when I give my final thoughts, to actually talk about these videos. So I will give kind of a bit of a summary of... Okay, not right now. Okay, so that's one with scientist James Burke. There's a second one here with physicist Richard Feynman, which is really interesting.
And so, by a
okay, there we go. The third one is a kind of an unusual one. It has this spiral shape here, and it's actually a clip from the closing minutes of Andrei Tarkovsky's film Nostalgia, which features a guy trying to get a candle from one end of a dry pool to another. And then it features this closing thing, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. There's a environmental puzzle you can do with this here. Use the back of the screen. And the fourth one, I'm actually going to save for a minute later for a reason that you'll see. The fifth one features, I think, Rupert Spiva, I think is his name. I forget his exact name. Talking about living life outside oneself or something like that. And it features 30 seconds or so of him just standing or sitting there. I think the whole video is about 30 minutes long. Then the sixth one starts over here. And this one is one that features some spiritual guru lady. I forgot her name, but she's kind of a little bit difficult to listen to at times. Talking about letting go of oneself. I forget what her name is, but it starts with a Z. So anyway, I'm going to do a couple puzzles here while we're here. One of them involves, you'll notice, this thing, which is used as part of an environmental puzzle, as well as this thing, which is used as another one, and they're both in the first video with James Burke. So I'm going to fast forward to the points where we actually need to look at these.
A worm, or a geranium, or you. This stuff's easy to take.
Okay, there we go. I think the other one is used for that other side of the book that he's showing. At least partially.
A worm, or a geranium, or you. This stuff's easier to take, isn't it?
There we go. Now, I think there's one more here, if I'm not mistaken. I forget where it is, but it's basically one that you can access from the top. And I think it's during this part where he's flipping through the pages.
About the guy who's talking, than about the world he's talking about. Second-hand views of the world, made third-hand.
I'm trying to figure out where it is.
Things like that.
Right there. I think it's that.
This. Know what it is?
Now, what we have to do for this one is you have to go up top where we saw that one environmental puzzle earlier. And you actually have to stand in a very specific location while that video is playing and grab the circle when it flashes on screen. And this is actually kind of a little tricky. If I can find it. I think it's over here. Is it here? Oh no, whoops. Wrong way. Wrong way. Let's go back this way.
Craftsmen or kings. Today, the people who make things change, people who have that knowledge.
I can't exactly remember where this is, but it's somewhere here in this video.
Driving force of humanity. And before you say, what about the Beethovens and the Michelangelos? Let me suggest something with which you may disagree violently.
Hopefully we can get this.
That at best, the products of human emotion, art, philosophy, politics, music, literature, are interpretations of the world.
What is that line down there? It looks strange.
Than about the world he's talking about.
Let's stand here.
Second-hand views of the world, made third-hand.
I think it's positioning us automatically there.
Things like that.
There we go. Got it. Alright. Cool. I was expecting to have to do that multiple times. Alright, so the reason why I wanted to end the video here is because there's an environmental puzzle that's very devious, because it involves watching the entire video. And it's the fourth video, the one we haven't unlocked yet, which is a lecture from game designer and professor Brian Moriarty about Easter eggs. And it's actually the video we unlocked when we completed the challenge earlier. And what's interesting about this video is that it shows an eclipse, which, let's just leave that there. It shows an eclipse, and throughout the entirety of the video, you're actually supposed to hold an environmental puzzle while the moon goes across the screen. Whoops, is that on it? It's... I thought it was this. Oh, it's this way. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to stand... Hopefully this is the right spot. The lecture is called The Secret of Psalm 46, and it's a really, really good lecture. I highly recommend listening to it. I hope this is correct, by the way.
How many of you here have personally witnessed a total eclipse of the sun?
Okay. Now, in about an hour, when this video is done, this should be... the moon should be on the other side of the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here. I'm not going to show this, so you guys don't have to listen to it. If you want, you can listen to it with the link in the description below. But when we come back, hopefully the video will be over by that point, and then we can solve the puzzle. So, thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always, I will catch you on the flip side. So take care, and I will see you then.